Everyone, this is Zach Beach with smartrealestatecoach.com. Welcome to another Deal Structure Sunday. We have our associate Jesse Ortiz, who is down in Texas. So anybody on the list saying, hey, you guys can't do deals in Texas because of the laws, Jesse is a living aspect of getting these deals done. So Jesse, if you could, just, I'm sure people don't know who you are, please give us a quick background and tell us about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you, Zach. I've been interested in real estate for quite some time. So I was actually looking at some other investors, started getting into terms back in summer 2017, started getting some ideas of possibly doing owner finance. And then I got in contact with you guys around December 2018. I'm sorry, 2017. And kind of just started with the associate program with y'all, and a large learning curve for me, honestly, throughout that first year. We were able to get a lot of people. I went to see quite a few houses, but weren't able to get my first contract until probably about August. At that point, I got a contract with a home in Kingwood, which is about 30 minutes north of Houston. And we're able to help that person get his house sold. And then more recently, I was able to help a lady in Houston sell her property through an AO, which we refer to as a lease purchase, kind of just an assignment option here in Texas. We can't do a straight lease purchase. So it was an exciting deal. She was actually a follow-up to an expired listing that I actually originally contacted in July. So it just shows you that this business is, a large part follow-up. Zach helped me with the numbers, and we were actually able to net roughly around $15,000 on this deal with the seller split, getting roughly 25% of that. At the end of the day, I was able to put about $2,000 to $3,000 in my pocket, and just really just encouraged me to keep going on this business. Kind of help pay down some debt, but also know that just a greater overall idea of what's expected going forward.
Awesome.
And it's one of the things that I really harp on is the system that Zach and the team teach it really does work. So it's really helped me.
Perfect. So thanks, Jesse. So let's break down a couple of those things. So this is your second deal, correct? Is what you were saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Okay. So deal number 2, and you did say it took a little longer than you would have hoped, but the learning curve was a little more difficult for you, I should say. But here you are, second deal, phenomenal. I mean, Jesse's the prime version of almost like rocking away, like he's plugging away. He continues to get after it, even though he's got shut down many times. But I can't even tell you how many times that's happened with me in my short real estate career as well. So, okay. So let's kind of break down this deal. So you said the source was an expired listing. Is that correct?
Yes, I reached out to this lady in July, and she had just started to kind of look at possibly listing her property. So she had probably been on the market for about 2 to 3 months up until that point. And when I reached out to her, she was still hesitant. She really wanted to sell the property. She had about a $3,200 mortgage payment every month. So she really wanted to get that out of her name as soon as possible. But at the end of the summer, she had still not been able to find anyone. So she came back to me back around November 1st. And at that point, we put it on the market. In less than 2 months, we were able to find somebody for her.
Awesome. I'm glad that you brought that up. So obviously $3,200 a month is probably extremely high to rent in that area. Is that correct, Jesse?
It's fairly high. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you were able to get it done with what we call an assignment deal, which is exactly what you said. We tied it up with a lease purchase agreement, went and found a buyer, and then we assigned that buyer back to the seller, and you were able to collect a nice little assignment fee. Which we can hit those numbers in a quick second as well. So I remember from this story, though, didn't you tell me that that lady herself that sold you the property, the seller, was actually involved in investments before as well, and maybe some other coaching programs?
Yes. So I actually had lunch with her about 2 weeks, about a week ago, and she kind of went through her whole spiel of how she started getting in real estate after the downturn in 2017. Started investing into some mentorships. Spent about $35,000 in mentorship programs. At the end of the day, she might have been able to do one short sell. She said she didn't. She just broke even. So she just went back into the oil and gas industry and said she doesn't want to touch real estate again. Which my advice to her was, it all just revolves around the right team. Real estate is, as you know, Zach, you can lose a lot of money, but you can also make a lot of money if you have the right team around you.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So it definitely comes down to the team. I'm with you, and we're glad to have you on our team, because I'm sure Jesse, if she was surrounded by people like us and you, then she may have getting some better deals done.
Yes.
As you alluded to, it did take you a little bit longer on the learning curve, but here we are. We're still plugging away. We're still getting after it. We didn't let that initial time frame, become a nuisance. We just kept doing it.
Right.
So kudos to you. So can you just give us like the breakdown in profit? I know you helped out the seller. You gave her 25% of the total collected, and that's because it was an AO. Was that negotiated at the beginning, or why? How come you came up with 25%?
Yeah. Well, in Texas, we again, we can't do lease purchase. So we decided up front through our contracts that we have is that we set the option price at 408.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, she had it listed for 375, just to kind of show you the split that we have between our option price and her previous purchase price. And at the end of the day, she said she was happy with getting about at 392. So a roughly $15,000 split there, with again about 25% of that going to her at closing. So we were able to get roughly 3% down up front, and we'll get the rest of the next, I believe, 5 to 10,000 over the next 6 months.
Okay. Awesome. So let's break that down. So you tied up the property for what price, Jesse?
So we put an option to purchase on it for 408. So again, we didn't necessarily put any money down. We take it to the market, to our buyer's market, and I had quite a few people come back to me looking for rent to own property.
Okay, and then you sold it for what?
Yeah, so we sold it for 408. Again, that was the option price. The rent on this property was roughly $25.50. So the seller was willing to provide some seller concession, some subsidy on the rent payment just to help get it sold. So that really helped us to find, have a larger pool of buyers. But at the end of the day, she's able to get full price for the property when it sells, and not have to mess with that $3,200, at least the full $3,200 payment every month.
Okay. So again, I just want to break this down. So then on the monthly, so we're able to collect a spread of $15,000 between what you tied up the property for as a purchase price, and then you sold it at 408. So it was in the 390s, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then because the monthly was so high, the seller was willing to give concessions. That way she could get that $3,200 a month. And then part of that was being credited towards the purchase price?
No, actually. So the way we're doing this one, we're doing a rent to own. So she's willing to accept the $2,550 as a rent payment for a period of up to 30 months. Or when we got back the report, it said that the buyer had about 12 to 18 months to become mortgage ready. So we gave, actually, I'm sorry, 18 to 24 months at the end of the day. So we extended it out to 30 months, and she was willing to take $2,550 on the rent payment, with the hopes that he would be closed within 24 months, of course.
Okay. So this is common. We've had plenty of people subsidize the payment. We're just not in the middle on this one. So you got a seller subsidizing the payment. So she's really coming out of pocket 3,200, but then when you have the rent payment come in at, was it 2,550?
Yes.
At 2,550, is that plus taxes?
No, it's just
Was it?
straight 2550.
Okay, so 2,550. So then she's really carrying about $700, but it's a heck of a lot better than carrying $3,200 a month.
Yep.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So you found a solution. Seller's happy. She's trying to get it cashed out sooner, but it's willing to go 30 months. You got a buyer in the property that is looking to become a homeowner that's, paying a reasonable payment, which they probably would have. And then you yourself, you're able to marry those two together, and then you get a nice chunk of change for profit. So I would consider that a win-win-win. So that's absolutely fantastic. Another great deal done, Jesse.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Zachary. Really appreciate all your help.
Yeah, no. Before we sign off, Jesse, is there any last things you'd like to say to anybody on the list?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest things I learned over the first year is the importance of motivation. Now, that's something that Zach preaches a lot. So this lady was heavily motivated, as you can see, with her highly month rent payment. Just keeping tabs with the motivated sellers. You can have a large list of follow-ups, but making sure that your motivated sellers are at the top of that list when you're making your follow-up calls.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jesse. So a couple key takeaway there. Focus on motivation, not necessarily on price. We talk about this day in and day out. And then also make sure you have a valid follow-up system that is going to allow you to make the key follow-ups, because that's where the good deals come from typically. So two great takeaways. Thank you, Jesse. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to another Deal Structure Sunday. Subscribe, as we will be bringing this to you every single Sunday. You'll be getting a new deal structure. I hope you guys are enjoying these. If you're getting some value, please comment below, like it, share it if you're on Facebook, and pass it along. If you're on our regular Smart Real Estate Coach list, I hope you guys are very much enjoying this. Please click respond, and we'd be happy to comment and happy to bring you guys some additional value. So thanks again for another Deal Structure Sunday. Thank you, Jesse. You guys everybody have a great Sunday.